You guys ever wonder why majority of the time there's a white man as the boss of a company? Hey, have you guys ever wondered why majority of the time there's a white man as the boss of a company? Have you never heard of discrimination? Well, I've heard the term being thrown around, but I never fully understood what it meant. Well, let us shine a little light on our world. Discrimination is something we experience almost every day. You would define it as the act of treating someone unfair based on their race, age, sex, religion, or basically any aspect of the person. And me being a black woman, you can see why it's so common in my life. If that's how you define discrimination, then I have seen it happen on multiple occasions, even in my own home. My father is really against my homosexual guy best friend, and he doesn't invite him to any events, but invites all the rest of my friends. He never outright said it, but I've always felt that he had an issue with him. See, it affects all kind of people. Why can't people just mind their business? I know, right? You might also have noticed discrimination from big institutions like jails, schools, and even the government. Yep, and it's called institutionalized discrimination. And many countries practice it in some way or form. Institutionalized discrimination. Elaborate. You would define it as the denial of equal rights and or resources to a specific group of people from a large institute, mainly ones that are supposed to fit the basic needs of life. Wow, I need to open my eyes a little more. Can you give me a few examples? I could give you a whole list. For starters, in the 1950s, the Jim Crow laws of segregation were government constructed laws that were put in place to intentionally oppress black people. But I thought they gave them all the same things white people had, like schools, parks, and clinics. Well, yeah, they did, but they weren't as nice as whites. Whites had better teachers, cleaner parks, and better hospitals. And this was ultimately to put blacks at a disadvantage. I didn't think about that aspect. Sometimes it's not even about race. There's a computer shop on Apple Street that won't hire people with disabilities because they feel they are more likely to be unreliable. Like, what makes them subjective to say someone's unreliable just because they have a disability? I totally agree. While we are on the topic of discrimination, I would like to know you guys' opinion on white privilege. I know it's an advantage given to white people based on their race, usually, and it's usually an unequal advantage, but I just want to know you guys' thoughts. Well, I guess I never noticed I was privileged. So would you consider yourself white to have white privilege since you're white and black? Honey, that is not how it works. Have you ever heard of the one drop rule? Huh? If you have one drop of black blood in you, you are not white, my friend. Therefore, as she does not qualify for white privilege. Well, thanks for that. Well, thanks for that lovely presentation. That was so rude, but she did get the point across. If you don't look white, you are not white. Therefore, I do not qualify, quote unquote, for white privilege. Yep, she's right. I still get followed around the corner store and don't get the luxury of being able to learn about at least half my race in school every day. It might be why I hardly ever see people of color in ads and signs. I was blinded this whole time to the different lives we live. I need to figure out how I can use my privilege to help minorities. I'm glad we enlightened you more, and more people need to open their eyes like you and that weirdo that butted in.